Debate on the performance and current operations of Crown entities, public organisations and state enterprises. Consideration in committee.
I declare the House and Committee for the consideration debate on the performance and current operations of Crown entities, public organisation and state enterprises. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker. Members, the House and Committee for consideration of the performance in the 2009-10 and current operations of Crown entities, public organisations and state enterprises. The debate on the performance of Crown entities, public organisations and state enterprises is a series of debates on individual financial reviews of Crown entities, public organisations and state enterprises as reported by select committees. A total of 3 hours is allocated for the debate. The debates on the individual financial reviews should be relevant to their performance in the 2009-10 financial year and their current operations. A member may have no more than 2 calls on each financial review. A compendium of the financial reviews available for debate is available on the table. Reports on entities yet to be reported cannot be debated. I understand that members have indicated the Crown entities, public organisations and state enterprises they wish to debate. The first entity I understand members wish to debate is the New Zealand Tourism Board. The question is that the report of the Commerce Committee on the 2009-10 financial review of the New Zealand Tourism Board be noted.
Mr. Speaker.
I call Dr. Russell Norman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I rise to speak on this debate because tourism is one of our most important export sectors. In fact, over the last decade, tourism was our single biggest export earner. Dairy's become more important over the last couple of years, but tourism has been our single biggest export industry. And the Tourism Board have done a good job in promoting New Zealand to the world. And the way that they've done that is under our 100% pure brand. But this has created an enormous conflict within New Zealand because of the contradictions around the 100% pure brand. The 100% pure brand is valued at many billions of dollars, possibly $18 billion according to the 2005 Interbrand study. This brand is not only how we sell tourism to the rest of the world, but actually underpins all of our other exports as well, particularly dairy. Clean, Green and Safe is the foundation brand for the dairy exports into China. And so protecting this brand seems to me one of the fundamental jobs of the Tourism Board if we are to protect what has been our largest single export industry. This brand has come under increasing pressure in the last 12 months. Just recently we saw BBC, in an interview with the Prime Minister, raise a series of concerns about New Zealand's environmental performance. And that was based on the work of Dr. Mike Joy, who's a leading freshwater ecologist in New Zealand. Those concerns are undermining the clean, green brand on which our tourism industry is based, the 100% pure brand. And that's to do with the fact that the majority of our lowland rivers have become so polluted that at times they are unsafe for swimming, let alone drinking. In fact, according to Environment Waikato, 70% of the sampling sites within their catchment are unsafe for swimming. 75% are unsafe for stock water. So what we're finding is that the Clean Green brand, which is promoted overseas through images of wild, clean rivers, if you've seen those advertisements, they often include wild rivers that people are jet boating on them. That brand is being undermined as we destroy the natural environment in our country. One of the key drivers of the destruction of our natural environment over the last decade has been the intensification of dairying. And that has resulted in increased pollution going into our rivers and increased abstraction of water out of our rivers. It's also put pressure in terms of damming rivers so that they can be used for irrigation. This government is proposing hundreds of thousands more hectares of irrigated dairying just in Canterbury alone, which will have massive downstream effects of pollution of our rivers and waterways. That pollution is fundamentally undermining our 100% pure brand, which is our single most important tourism asset. And tourism has been our single most important export sector over the last decade. If we continue down this track of destroying our lowland rivers, which has been government policy now for more than a decade from both of the major parties, if we continue down that path, we will fundamentally undermine our tourism industry. Now, the Prime Minister is the Minister of Tourism, and he looked extremely uncomfortable on BBC Hard Talk when he was asked about these issues, and he was in denial and tried to say that you could find any old freshwater scientist just like you could find any old lawyer to say anything you want. Well, actually, you can't. The freshwater science community is absolutely of a consensus and of one mind that we are watching the destruction of our lowland rivers in front of our eyes, and that destruction is only accelerating under the pressures of intensive agriculture. So we are fundamentally undermining one of our most important export sectors, which also has impacts on all our other export sectors that rely on the clean and green and safe brand that underpins the tourism sector as well. We had an opportunity to do something about it with a national policy statement on freshwater management, and instead we just turned it into a piece of meaningless dribble. We had a draft national policy statement on freshwater management that actually would have resulted in the beginning of the cleaning up of our rivers, but it got watered down by the government when it came back from the Board of Inquiry. That national policy statement could have been the beginning of protecting our 100% pure brand by beginning to clean up our rivers. Because people overseas, they understand that we're not 100% pure, but they won't tolerate it when we're in denial about the fact that we're not 100% pure, and they won't tolerate it when we do nothing to start the clean-up process. If we can say to people, yes, we have a problem, and acknowledge the problem, and here's a plan to clean it up, then people will understand our position. Instead, the government has a program to make it worse by accelerating irrigation and intensive agriculture, by undermining the one single serious attempt we had, the National Policy Statement on Freshwater Management, that could have started up the clean-up. That is undermining our clean green brand.
Time's expired. No further speakers. The question is that the report of the Commerce Committee of the 2009-10 financial review of the New Zealand Tourism Board be noted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The next entity I am told members wish to debate is the Human Rights Commission. The question is that the report on the Justice and Electoral Committee on the 2009-10 financial year of the Human Rights Commission be noted. No members seeking the debate. Then the question is that the report of the Justice and Electoral Committee of the 2009-10 financial review of the Human Rights Commission be noted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. The next entity I understand members wish to debate is the Hawke's Bay District Health Board. The question is that the report of the Health Committee on the 2009-10 financial review of the Hawke's Bay District Health Board be noted. So the question is that the report on the Health Committee of the 2009-10 financial review of the Hawke's Bay District Health Board be noted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. I'm told the next entity members wish to debate is the Waikato District Health Board. So the question is, I'll just read the question. I'm just telling you what's happening. Now I'll read the question, right? So the question is that the report of the Health Committee on the 2009-10 financial review of the District Health Board be noted. Mr Bennett.